Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Oh, yeah, I'll send it. 7 dot. Yeah. 7943. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 9, Text 43. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Twadvirya gayana mahamrutamagna chittaha Sochetato vimukachetasa indriyardha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Twadvirya gayana mahamrutamagna chittaha Sochetato vimukachetasa indriyardha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Twadvirya gayana mahamrutamagna chittaha Sochetato vimukachetasa indriyardha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Twadvirya gayana mahamrutamagna chittaha Sochetato vimukachetasa indriyardha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. Naivo dvije paraduratyaya vaitaranyas Twadvirya gayana mahamrutamagna chittaha Sochetato vimukachetasa indriyardha Maya sukhaya bharamudvahato vimudhan. So I'll go to translation directly. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. Please repeat. O best of the great personalities, I am not at all afraid of material existence. For wherever I stay, I am fully absorbed in thoughts of your glories and activities. My concern is only for the fools and rascals who are making elaborate plans for material happiness and maintaining their families, societies, and countries. I am simply concerned with love for them. Purport. Throughout the entire world, everyone is making big plans to adjust the miseries of the material world. And this is true at present, in the past, and in the future. Nonetheless, although they make elaborate political, social, and cultural plans, they have all been described herein as vimudha, fools. The material world has been described in Bhagavad Gita as dukkhalayam ashashvatam, temporary and miserable. But these fools are trying to turn the material world into sukhalayam, a place of happiness, not knowing how everything acts by the arrangement of material nature, which works in her own way. Prakrite kriyamanani gunaih karmani sarvashah ahankara vimudhatma kartaham iti manyate. The bewildered spirit soul, under the influence of the three modes of material nature, thinks himself to be the doer of activities that are in actuality carried out by nature. There is a plan for material nature, personally known as Durga, to punish the demons. Although the asuras, the godless demons, struggle for existence, they are directly attacked by the goddess Durga, who is well equipped with 10 hands with different types of weapons to punish them. She is carried by her lion carrier, or the modes of passion and ignorance. Everyone struggles very hard to fight through the modes of passion and ignorance and conquer material nature. But at the end, everyone is vanquished by nature's laws. There is a river known as Vaitarani between the material and spiritual worlds, and one must cross this river to reach the other side, or the spiritual world. This is an extremely difficult task. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 7.14, Daivi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. This divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is difficult to overcome. The same word duratyaya, meaning very difficult, is used here. Therefore, one cannot surpass the stringent laws of material nature except by the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Nonetheless, although all materialists are baffled in their plans, they try again and again to become happy in this material world. Therefore, they have been described as vimudha, first-class fools. As for Prahlad Maharaj, he was not at all unhappy, for although he was in the material world, he was full of Krishna consciousness. Those who are Krishna conscious, trying to serve the Lord, are not unhappy, whereas one who has no assets in Krishna consciousness and is struggling for existence is not only foolish but extremely unhappy also. Prahlad Maharaj was happy and unhappy simultaneously. He felt happiness and transcendental bliss because of his being Krishna conscious, yet he felt great unhappiness for the fools and rascals who make elaborate plans to be happy in this material world. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jai Srila Prabhupada. So the wonderful prayer by Prahlad Maharaj. So here he says, Naivodvije para. Para means, O Supreme Lord. Na eva udvije. I am not agitated. Udvija means agitation or anxious. Naeva udvija, O para, anxious or feared or afraid of what? Para duratyaya vaitaranyaha. This material world, which is always making us agitated, anxious, fearful. Duratyaya. And if you try to get out of it, you'll be pulled back and will be punished even more. This morning I was hearing Prabhupada's lecture while before coming to the temple, and he was talking about this incidentally. So this Durga Devi, she has 10 hands, and she'll be punishing, holding the hair of the demon in one hand and the Trishul in the other hand, punishing these demons. And if he tries to escape, she has 8 other hands to punish. So one who tries to escape will be punished even more. So it's called insurmountable, duratyaya. As Prabhupada also is referring to another verse from Bhagavad Gita. What is that shloka? Huh? Daivi hiyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. It's not easy to overcome. Firstly, it is giving a lot of troubles. Recently there was this hurricane, isn't it? Ian in Florida. So somebody sent a video, and it's a very, very strange video. On the pedestrian path on the streets, after the water has been washed away, there was a whale. Have you seen that video? Oh my God, I was like so shocked to see the whale on the street trying to go across that pedestrian path, finding its way. I don't know how they will even able to lift it up, and it's huge. And it's dangerous as well. How it is able to go back to that waters, nobody knows. What happened to it, I don't know. People driving on the street, they were taking video and posting it. See, even the sea creatures are not left. Everybody in this world is full of agitation. That is why Bhagavatam says, Padam padam yad vipadam. In another video, there was this, not in Florida, in general. So there was this lady or a man wearing jacket. He was happily walking and jogging and all that. The morning times they go. But this house camera is capturing this. So he is walking, jogging, and there was a mountain lion. Somehow came from the woods. And it is in front of the porch of the house. And all of this is being captured. And this lion was walking, and this jogger was coming from that side. And there was some bushes covering this lion. And then this lion saw this man, and then he went and hid behind the bushes. And right next to the bush, there's hardly any gap. And this man was happily walking and jogging as if there is no danger. And then the man passed, and then this lion was about to go out, and then the video got cut. I don't know what happened after that. So this lion probably is thinking that, usually these animals are also fearful of men. If the man had tried to do anything, it could have attacked. Immediately it could have attacked. But the point is, the danger was lurking right next to the man, and he was happily thinking there is no danger, oblivious of the fact. So in many ways, our situation is also like that. Danger is lurking, like the other day, Manojava sent a video. I don't know how many have you seen. This animal was jumping and falling into that hole, and then somebody was trying to pull him out. Krishna, please help me. Just one time, please pull me out. I will promise you, I will not do this again. And then he pulls him out, and then he jumps again and falls again. So Krishna already told that this world is dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, and we are trying to make it sukhalayam. When the Shastra is saying this is dukkhalayam, ashashvatam, and we are trying to overcome those miseries and trying to make it Sukhalayam. That is called Duratyaya. That Vaitaranya, Duratyaya Vaitaranya means it seems to cross this material world and go to the spiritual world, there is a river called Vaitarani. So you have to cross it. Of course, if you are a devotee, you don't have to cross it. Krishna will take you in a plane. But in general, it is said that you have to cross that because it's very difficult. One cannot easily escape this material existence. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, Na eva budvije. I am not at all perturbed by this anxiety of this material world. Why? Tvad virya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha. See, he's giving the formula. How you can become free from the udvija, anxiety, fearfulness of this material world is by Tvad virya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha, is by chanting Lord Krishna's glories. Virya gayana mahamrita. There is mahamrita there. And you get immersed in it. And there is no udvija for anybody. Kulashekara also prays very nice prayer, just like this, glorifying this, the chanting of the holy name. He calls this as aushadham, or elixir for all the troubles of this world. Vyamoha prasamaushadham munimano vritti pravrityaushadham daityendrartikaraushadham tribhuvane sanjeevanaikaushadham bhaktatyanta hitaushadham bhavabhaya pradvamsanaikaushadham shreyah praptikaraushadham pibamana Sri Krishna divyaushadham. So he says, or you're all struggling for this in this material world, just pibamanaha Sri Krishna divyaushadham. Take this wonderful elixir of Sri Krishna, the holy name Sri Krishna. You drink it. And all your vyamoha will be annihilated. Vyamoha prasamaushadham. And all these great munis, pravrityaushadham, the mantra which is inspiring them to practice their spiritual practices. Daityendrarti karaushadham, the mantra which will annihilate these demons which is causing all the troubles. And Tribhuvane Sanjeevanaikaushadham, this is the mantra which gives life to all the three worlds. Bhaktatyanta hitaushadham, it's the most dear to the devotees. Bhavabhaya pradvamsanaikaushadham, it removes all the fears and anxieties. So please drink this. Pibamanaha Sri Krishna divyaushadham. So why are you waiting when there is such an easier option available? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, if you are immersed in that, there is no trouble. So it doesn't mean, we should also understand that, oh, just because we start to chant Hare Krishna mantra or practice Krishna consciousness, the problems of the world don't start or don't stop for us. One should not have that misunderstanding. Oh, by becoming a devotee, now I will not get any problem. So one time, we were about to go out somewhere, and we started from home, and I was taking the car out from the garage. And as soon as I got the car out, this axle, which connects the, the car's underbody, it broke. And there was a huge sound. I knew that something was severely wrong. And I got down and I didn't know what was the problem. I was not a mechanic. I'm not a mechanic. So this neighbor came hurrying down and he looked at it and said, "Oh, your axle broke down. And how come you didn't notice?" I said, "No, I didn't notice yesterday. It was all fine when I was parking. Nothing was wrong." And he said, "You know what? You're so lucky. This happened here. If this happened on the freeway, I cannot even imagine what could have happened to you." And the whole family was there. And then I was thinking, just before he came, I was calculating my mind, how much it would cost me, 2,000 or 3,000. I mean, I'm just thinking, oh my God, what to do, another expense like that. And the moment he said that, all of that worry has been thrown out of the window. Why? Because in front of your life, what is that, you know, trivial amount of money you spend to repair your car? It's nothing. So what changed? 2 minutes before and 2 minutes after, the same car, same broke down, nothing changed. Same amount will be costed. But what changed? That one sentence from that neighbor changed everything. So a devotee, nothing will change in this world. Tribulations may start or may continue to happen. But what will change? Your consciousness changes. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I've got nothing to do with this material world. Nothing to do with all the suffering. So you transcend the problem. Just like a person, like take the example of hurricane. Somebody is stuck on the street, or earthquake. People are all stuck running around trying to overcome their problem. But somebody comes with a helicopter and lifts them. And they don't have any problem anymore. They are seeing all that, but they don't feel that problem. So like that, we'll be lifted in our consciousness. When we are lifted in our consciousness, our perception of the problem becomes very different. And that's how we transcend these problems. Not because Krishna will magically make it disappear. And nor should that be our prayer. Our prayer should not be, oh Krishna, please remove this problem, please remove that problem. Go give a laundry list of our desires. Krishna, let me engage in your service. Let me not forget your lotus feet. Let me always chant your holy names. Let me serve your pure devotee, spiritual master. So that should be our desires. So Prahlad Maharaj is giving a formula how to become freed from this anxiety. Twadvirya gayana mahamrita magna chittaha. So I am not anxious because wherever I am, I can always think about you, I can chant about you, and I'll be freed from these miseries. But I also am unhappy for something. You just said you are not unhappy about this material world, you can live anywhere and be peaceful. No, I am unhappy for something. Soche, I am lamenting for something. What is this? A devotee should not lament. Why is he lamenting for? Soche tato vimukha chetasa indriyardha maya sukhaya bharam udvahato vimudhan. I am lamenting for these vimudhas. Vimudhan. These foolish people who are trying to find maya sukhaya, illusory happiness, and because of that, bharam udvahato, they are lifting a great burden on their heads, trying to go after that happiness. Long back, I met one friend. One day I saw him working late, and that was the bonus was around the corner. So I asked him, hey, we were working hard for the bonus. He said, yeah, I want to get good bonus. And why? He said, no, I want to buy this apartment. Then, are you relying only on the bonus? He said, no, that bonus is only that extra because my wife wanted top floor. So if I get that 2 lakhs extra, I can afford the top floor. Otherwise, I won't be able to make the down payment. So top floor has additional payment. So okay, so good luck for you. And incidentally, after some time, I met him again after a year. I was talking, hey, how is your apartment? Were you able to purchase? Yeah, I was able to purchase. But what happened now? He was saying that I'm trying to sell it again. So why you are selling it? Because there was a lot of heat. It's a top floor. There's a lot of heat. And my wife is very impatient also. She's unable to stand so long in the queue to go to the lift. To go to the top floor. Too many people that she has to face. Too much heat. So much of problem for anything to carry her up and down. It can't be happening so immediately. So she's frustrated. She wants to sell and buy a lower floor one. And then did you find anybody who wants to buy? Yeah, I found somebody. Why he wants to buy? Because his wife wants a top floor. So this is Maya Sukhaya. Maya Sukhaya means, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Maya Sukhaya means we are going after something which we think will give us happiness. It's like Prabhupada gives that example of this beast of burden. The donkey, you put this carrot in front and you make it work so hard. And it keeps on working without understanding that we are working for nothing. Just like this animal goes towards this mirage, which is not existing. And it goes to the mirage, and then it dies eventually. Prabhupada uses some words here in the translation. These people, they are making elaborate plans for material happiness in maintaining their families, societies, and countries. So even the greatest politicians, oh, now I am the person the country is dependent on. If I don't work hard, how will this country be elevated, delivered? Mahatma Gandhi, he thought like that. And the same countrymen, they killed him. There is no retirement. People, let me earn this much and then I'll retire. So now this is the top 2 richest man in the world. Another person has taken over somebody, Mr. Adani or somebody. Have you heard about that? Another Indian became the top 2 richest man in the world. So one works so hard to reach there. Oh, let me stop there. But once you go there, no, I have to keep this position, so I have to work so hard. And then people may say, no, unless there are people like that, you are also using all their hard work. Like, for example, unless there are people like that who can dream and achieve big, there won't be mobile phones, there won't be cars, there won't be airplanes, isn't it? But actually what the Shastra is saying, and even you can see for ourselves, before mobile phone, I'm not dependent on anything for my happiness. But now this mobile phone, I'm dependent, all my happiness is dependent on my mobile phone. I'm supposed to be free, but now I became bound by this mobile phone. Without laptop, no happiness. Without mobile phone, no happiness. Without car, no happiness. So everything we became so dependent. And has it solved the problem? Yes, you have found the problem. More and more cars, and the distances are increasing, isn't it? To go to a small place, earlier there was in one town and you could go in a bicycle or rickshaw or walking. But now that has, because you have cars, you have to go 40 miles, 50 miles. No, we have advanced technology and advanced medicine, advanced doctors. But the dangerous diseases are increasing. You found cars, distances are increasing. You found doctors and medicines, diseases are increasing. You found great restaurants to eat, great things to eat, nice things at your fingertips, DoorDash, obesity is increasing. You have nice AC to sit and work, back pain is increasing. You have everything at your home, mental problem is increasing. So you send your children to the best schools, shooter problems are increasing. So everything you try to find in this world, Maya Sukhaya, it's only Maya Sukhaya. And you work so hard and you think, oh, we are advancing, becoming godless. So he says, for them I'm lamenting. And I want to save them. And this is the mentality of a Vaishnava. Paradukha dukhi. Paradukha dukhi means one who cannot tolerate the miseries of another living entity. That is the mentality of a Vaishnava. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, you see Parikshit Maharaj. He heard the fifth canto is about these hellish planets. Not all, but towards the end. A lot of hellish planets description is there. How different kinds of punishment is given. And Parikshit Maharaj, when he heard, he became so compassionate on this conditioned soul suffering. And he said, how can these people get out of this suffering of hellish existence? That's how the acharyas think. Vasudev Datta, one of the characters, pure devotees in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he goes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he says, how can these people be delivered? And I want to liberate them all. Everybody in this universe I want to liberate. And if you think they have to suffer, please transfer all their sinful activities onto me. Sinful reactions. I am prepared to suffer. But you liberate them all. So that is the mentality. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, it's not a big deal for me to liberate this whole universe. But this is not one-time activity. Constantly the living entities are coming and filling this universe, these planetary systems, because the conditioned nature of the living entity is going on, eternally going on. Unlimited souls are eternally coming to this material world, filling up this place, trying for that illusory happiness, Maya Sukhaya. So a devotee becomes more compassionate. That's why we say, Krupa Sindubhya Evacha, Vancha Kalpaturubhyascha, Krupa Sindubhya Evacha. Prabhupada himself, for that matter, he took so much of compassion on all these living entities. And he gave these wonderful books, which we are going to do the distribution today. There was one very interesting incident when devotees were distributing books. This happened in Europe. So in Europe, they have connectivity from one country to the other country in these trains. So these devotees, they would take books, Prabhupada's books, and they would go to these train stations and they would distribute books. Sometimes they would get into the train and distribute books to all the people sitting. And when the train is about to start, they will jump out of the train. And that's how they were doing. So there was this one Mataji, very young Mataji. She was fired up in distributing books. So one day she got into the train. And so she was trying to preach and distribute a book. There was this one stout young businessman wearing a coat and all that. So he was sitting. And she was trying to explain. She gave the French copy of the Krishna book. And she was trying to explain him all this. And he became so agitated. And not agitated, he was so demoniac that he took the book from her hand. He was so stout and strong that he almost tore it into half. That Krishna book, that hardbound book, he tore it into half and he threw it down. And then he began to stomp on it. And not only that, and by this time the train was already moving. And he held her with her hair, and then he pulled her and then threw her out of the train as the train was moving. And then she dislocated her shoulder, and she fell on her face, bruises all over. She was bleeding, and the devotees came running to save her and take her to the hospital. And she had suffered that injury, and for several months she was unable to do things properly with her shoulder and all that. So it so happened that this man was very proud of his action. And so he took that book. He wanted to showcase his so-called heroic action to his wife. So he took the book to his home and he explained everything. And the wife was busy in something. Oh, she said, okay, fine. And then that book was there on the table. And the next day he went to his bank. He was a bank officer. And the wife went to shopping. This housemaid comes. And she thinks that, oh, these people bought this book. Somehow it got torn. must have got under the car or something. So let me repair this book. She repairs the book very nicely, binds it, and puts plaster or whatever, and closes it, dusts it off, and puts it in the bookshelf. So nobody knows about the book. Nobody bothered about the book after that. So then what happened? After 1 or 2 years, this man's life becomes completely spoiled. The wife dies in a head on car crash on the spot when she was driving somewhere. And then their children, the son runs away from home, and the daughter marries some low class person, leaves the home and the father. And this father becomes so dejected, so depressed in life, that he wants to give up his life, commit suicide. And as Krishna says, if one is in distress, there is a chance that some people come to him. Artho jignasur ardharthi gnani cha bhartarshava. So he, obviously in those countries, Bible is famous. And he said, okay, let me see if there is some Bible in my bookshelf. If my wife had sometime bought it, if there is something, let me read. But he couldn't find Bible, but he found Krishna book. And then he started opening the book, and there Prabhupada was talking about Vasudeva's story, where Kamsa is trying to catch Devaki and punish her. So Vasudeva is preaching to Kamsa how this body is temporary. One should not be disturbed by this body, and the body will go away, but the soul will remain forever. And then that's something that he has never heard of. And then he started to read the book for a long time. And all these concepts, he started to find solace that his wife did not die, but she rather changed her body. Somewhere she is there. And then the next day, he couldn't go to office even. So he turned the book back. He found the address of the nearest temple. So he was living in Spain at that time. This book was a French book. So he went in the office clothes. He went to on the weekday, he went and knocked at the door. And the temple president himself opens. And then this man started to apologize profusely. I am so sorry for what I have done. I cannot even imagine how sorry I am. I so apologize. I beg your forgiveness. And this man is not understanding, this devotee. Hey, please come inside. And he takes him inside, gives him prasadam. And then he explains, I've done this, and there is no other rascal like me. The most heinous thing I have done. And then later on, he starts to come to the Sunday classes. And while doing his job, he would give a huge amount of donations. And then one day he said, I want to move in to the temple. And then he joins the temple full time. He gets initiated. And they give him the role of a temple treasurer, because he's a bank officer. But then there was this December marathon where devotees are going to distribute books in the trains. So he says, no, I want to do that service. So he starts to take that service. And then after a couple of years, there was some event in Italy, some mela or something, where he goes, and that lady that he hurt, she also happens to come there. And seeing her, he falls at her feet and starts to cry and starts to beg forgiveness. And Vaishnava, as a compassionate, she says, all right, it's all right. The only thing that matters is you became a great devotee. And then he continues to be a devotee, even to, I don't know about today, but this was a story that was published a few years back that I read. So you can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, even such a demoniac person, he was able to be elevated from his position just because of the compassion of Srila Prabhupada, his books, and whoever is representing him and taking his compassion to these people. Another Mataji was saying, all great Matajis, Prabhu's turn also will come. So she went and knocked the door, and nobody was opening. Usually we go away, right? But somehow she felt, I need to give this book to somebody in this house. She kept on knocking. And somebody kept on shouting, I don't want to open the door, please go away. But somehow she was adamant. She was saying, I don't know for what reason, I wanted to give that book somehow to that person. And after a while, that person comes and opens. And then she says Hare Krishna, and this is a book about Krishna consciousness, elevating our consciousness and all that. And he starts to cry. Hey, why are you crying? You know what I was doing inside? I was getting ready to commit suicide. I didn't want to open the door. But because you persisted, I thought, let me get rid of this person first, and peacefully I'll die. And then I opened the door. Now that is Krishna's indication, God's indication that I should not die. And then she said, I keep on seeing him day to day, even now, and he's doing quite well. He's reading the book and he's happy. See, this is the compassion of the Vaishnavas. All we have to do is follow the instructions of the spiritual master. Even though we may not think we are the savior, we are representing Prabhupada. As long as we are following in the footsteps of a pure devotee, so we can stay behind Prabhupada, and whatever Prabhupada does to deliver these fallen souls, Prabhupada give us also some credit. And because of that service, Prabhupada will take us back home, back to Godhead, or wherever he thinks we can be used as his instruments. So any other questions or comments on what we discussed? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल, हरे कृष्ण।